We Are Vine podcast, and your girl has gotten, let me use correct English, a mic. Do you hear how crispy this sounds? But anyway, housekeeping, of course. Go ahead and follow the We Are Vine podcast on Instagram. Also, if you are not already following me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and click that subscribe or click that follow this podcast, those buttons. Also on YouTube, if you are not already following me, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I am releasing episodes so that you all can see previous episodes that I've already recorded. And so, yeah, that's what I want y'all to do. Okay. Okay. So for today's episode 61 is called Dun Dun Dun. At first, I was going to name it Can I Talk to You or Can We Talk? But it's actually called What's on Your Mind. Okay. So I am going to start with the personal questions and then I'll get into the professional questions and then I'll get into the podcast questions. I had to write everything down because I do not want to jump around. Okay, I want y'all to be able to follow me. Okay, so I'm like, let's get this personal stuff out of the way and then we're going to go ahead and get everything else out of the way. By the way, once again, if you have ever listened to any episodes that I've done and you resonate with anything that I've stated, please, please, please do me a favor and make a comment. Okay. I do not get paid for this, y'all. I'm doing this for my community. Okay. I don't monetize, I don't have ads, I don't do anything of that nature. I do have a goal of one day maybe being an international speaker, like a public speaker, self help as well as empowerment. So, yeah, I'm going to put that in the air. All right. So, with y'all help, I like feedback. So, I get amazing feedback on social media for those who may have come in contact with me or people who don't even know me that well, leaving feedback for the episodes. So I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. This first question is juicy, y'all. And I'm going to try not to get too loud in this mic. I'm going to try to contain myself because y'all are hilarious. Okay. So the first question was, do you believe in the perfect temporary partner for someone? I don't know if this is a question that you would like to ask me for potential purposes or for yourself or for in general. I don't know who wrote it. All the questions are anonymous, but I'm going to tell you something. Why can't we be friends first? What is the rush? So I used to think I had to grab onto people I saw potential in, but it's totally okay to get to know them and enjoy their ins and outs, okay? This takes practice and I'm actually learning this. People are temporary in my belief now, okay? The experiences are the ones that leave an indentation on our mind for the years that we'll be able to recall them. And I mean, like sometimes, you get older and you no longer can recall things. And that's what I mean. Okay. Nobody is perfect. And I do believe that experiences are experiences when it comes to that temporary and that permanent. So for myself, I can no longer hold on to being always there because change is inevitable. Similar to what Trey said in one of my other episodes. Okay. So also along with that, like I said, nobody is perfect. Um and I do feel like people are temporary. And I don't mean that in a negative way, just more so like for me, people are not tangible things for us to hold on to. And I used to think that, okay? And just like me and a person can mesh really, really well together, and then we both agree that it's just not going to work out due to unforeseen circumstances, or just maybe their needs and wants have changed, similar to what my needs and wants were as well. And that's why I think it's important to be friends first, because once you get to a certain point, you'll realize, like, I've finally gotten to know this person. Is this person better as a friend or as a partner? Okay. All right. So, another question for relationships, non negotiables in a future partner. All right, y'all. So I don't know if this personal to me, but you all are probably going to see me on Later Daters the way it's looking. If you've been on Netflix, you'll see I'm going to be on Later Daters, and I'm okay with that. I'm enjoying my peace. So, emotional competence is very important for somebody who is learning the ins and out of themselves by doing the work, and it's actually very emotional work. I think values and beliefs surrounding emotional capacity is a telltale sign for me. Y'all, I can also read through trauma dumping for manipulation and sympathy. It has happened to me. Um, yeah. And it's very loud, and in hindsight, I realize how loud it actually is once I finally came out of Delulu land. Okay. Um Brief story, I was talking to someone at one point in time, and they were being very open and vulnerable to me. And at the time, there was a lot going on my end. But I felt that it was genuine, but later on realized, like, this was not, no, it wasn't it, and it was too much too soon, and I did not slow down. And so that's why I said what I said earlier. I've had some situations where I have moved completely, like, too fast, and I should have just slowed down. And we barely knew each other. So you have to, for my non-negotiables, you have to love, or you have to love your kids and mines, and you won't meet mines on purpose. Like, this is gonna be an accident. If, like, let's just say, I know in one of my episodes, Chris stated, like, he and the woman had, like, some type of same work relationship or something like that, and like frequent a similar spot, something like that. And he that was the only way that happened. So similar to Chris, like, I gotta vet you out because it's too many things out here that are going on. Okay. Also, you have to have faith in God to lead. God has to lead you and us. I'm realizing how important God is, always has been. It's just at a specific point in my life, I really did not have a strong faith. I also did not know who God was. I'm still learning who God is. Okay. Friendship first, and I mean Jesus Christ. Okay. So friendship first. Let's go from acquaintances, and then I want a partner that asks permission for us both to move forward, because he appreciates that he appreciates me and respects me so much, and I want to respect him as well enough to have self-control. And that's another one of my non-negotiables. You have to have self-control in all aspects, everything. Okay. I had terrible boundaries in the past. Also, I want someone who has empathy for others, but not acting empathy for their own personal gain. And I won't go too much deep into that, but it is what I said it is. Respect for yourself. Um, working and understanding relationship with your parents. Oh my gosh. Also a working and understanding relationship with God. You don't have to know it all. And as far as parents, I don't want you to hate your parents, but more so understand them. So I come from a broken home. My father is deceased. He died at a very young age, due to medical complications. And I really, really think that it's important that you understand. Like, if you came from a broken home or a background, get to a point where you understand why your parents made the decisions that they made. And as an adult, of course, you're not under their roof anymore. I want you to work on, if you have any resentment or anything toward your parents, I would like for you to work on that. And also let me in. I want you to already be working on that understanding relationship with your parents. And I also, if you already love them, that's good, of course. But I do want my partner to have boundaries with their parents too. Because you leave to cleave, baby. All right. um, we may or may not be able to relate, but as long as you love your parents or understand, but then again, like I said, personal boundaries, I respect that. And some people don't talk to their parents because they don't respect their boundaries. I respect that. I respect that. Let's just communicate. Let's talk about that. What does that look like? How is that going to affect our dynamic, if anything? I really want this next thing, this, I'm not going to call it a thing, but this next relationship to be so thorough. And we're going to mess up. We're not going to be perfect, but I want it to be so thorough that, we know that we're for one another. But I definitely understand things change. Okay. So it's just going to be what it's going to be. All right. And I just have to accept the ebb and the flow when it comes to change. So, self love. This person has to love themselves. Y'all, I have an extensive list. This can be a whole episode, I promise. You have to love yourself, okay? You know how hard it was for me to actually love myself and actually mean it? It was hard, okay? Be patient with me because I'll be patient with you for sure. Okay, these days I just want peace. I don't want drama. So, for the person who has the extra baggage, I am not the one for you. So, self control, like I stated earlier, and I just said baggage. So, it just goes deeper than what happened to you because I can give you grace. It's how you're working on improving it. I don't want you to come to me all primp and polished, okay? I want you to come to me with, I got a plan and I'm working it and I want you to be a part of it. But I also have my own individual things that I'm working on. Okay. Also, bingo, bingo. You have to have a sense of humor because I'm telling you. Okay. So those are usually for me the personal characteristics. Now, when we get into the other things, then I will go deeper into that. But then now I feel like it's a date show, and I'm not going to go into that, okay? So, how important is sex in a relationship? Define relationships. Situationships are no longer my jam, y'all. So, I don't even know if I can speak on this too thoroughly in the present moment. But I have put myself in too many bonded situations, and I keep saying too many, some bonded situations that emotionally I couldn't get myself out that easy because once I was engulfed, it was so hard. Um, and just even thinking of a situation before a situation that I was in. It's been a while since I have dated, but that situation, oh, it took me a while. Honey child, it took me a while. Like the love bombing was real, okay? And I can't get myself out of that easily. I am very empathetic. I'm very loving. I'm very nurturing, but I also have my imperfections, and that was that boundary that I didn't have, and also not necessarily being one that respected boundaries too. Like I had to work on that. So um, so kudos for me moving forward. But for that, I think that I've given myself boundaries over the past year, and for that, I'm proud of. So, for anybody else, I believe that boundaries are very crucial to self development. So, it is a flesh struggle. It is a flesh struggle, and you have to figure out why you believe that that is necessary. I'm not judging anybody who feels that they have to engage in physical activity in order to have a relationship. Okay. But you have to figure out why this is important to you. I think that's what it is. I've been praying about it more often than not because the bad thoughts can seep through if your mind is idle. Okay. I'm always busy, so it's hard for me to constantly let my thoughts wander, y'all. I really I'll have a thought and be like, "Meh." And I'm not talking about physical activity. I'm more so talking about like just in general. I'm like, is this worth my headspace? I don't think so. Okay. I have poured more into myself to where I value myself enough to say this is temporary. And if I want respect, my dominion will not be my domain, my entity will not be compromised. And I know how much I want to give to the love of my life. Okay. I want to be whole in this next chapter for the person that will come into my life. And I'm not rushing that either because I haven't really been able to kind of sit with myself long enough, to be honest. um, okay. So, yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. Let's go ahead and get into the attachment styles. I want you to actually go back through my podcast because I actually do talk about attachment styles in a previous episode. So I would like for you to go ahead and even listen to the other episodes as well. See, you see the shameless plug. Listen to the other episodes as well as you comb through that, because I do talk about that. Okay. Um, yeah. All right. So let's get into professional. This is a summation because I jotted these down on a Google Doc form because I want to make sure I stayed on task for the purpose of this episode. But the person asks, what is the advice on follow your plan, not your mood? Pretty much when you're helping everyone all day and you really just don't get the time for yourself. So, one thing I do is I realize that I'm there to support people and not to force feed. This creates a boundary between me and my profession. I leave the job at the job mostly all of the days. I realize I have a goal and I'm sticking to it. So I want more than what I have right now. I want more in my career. So for the little minute tasks and the little hiccups that occur, I kind of say, you know what, this is temporary. This is not meant to be the same way forever, although it is a struggle. Okay. But also have an accountability task or item like a journal to write things down. Also, ways to promote self care within yourself. I do slack on this, okay, sometimes, but it's okay. That's the beauty of life. If you have the privilege to wake up tomorrow, you can do it again, okay? So you can think of new ways to take care of yourself. And honestly, I keep saying I slack, but almost every morning I listen to spa music while I'm showering, and that is self care. Okay. So someone also asks, Um, why pursue podcasting? Podcasting, does it amplify my reach to different viewers? I would say if you are interested in getting into podcasting, you do have analytics on Apple and Spotify. So I'm able to see my reach, and I will tell you that my reach goes further than my community. And podcasting is it's a very good platform if you are using it correctly to get a message out and to help others or to educate others on certain things that are going on in the community, or even to just allow the community a voice, which is why I do what I do. Okay. Um, and then also someone asked, what did I learn about myself while doing podcasting? I have a procrastination problem, and I don't think it's on purpose. I just delay tasks because I'm good at last minute things. And I have improved. I have improved greatly. And I think it can be a little bit of anxiousness that causes me to procrastinate. And then I feel like, oh, yeah, I can do it. And lo and behold, now I'm stressed out because I'm doing it last minute. Okay. And I do some of my best work last minute. I'm definitely one of those creatives that do their best work last minute. Okay. But it's even better when I prepare. Okay. So podcasting has definitely taught that about myself. And also that it's okay to be vulnerable, and that some people will like it and some people won't. It's fine. If you already felt like you were being judged and you were scared of like a comment that you were maybe gonna receive, I would tell you podcasting will amplify those comments, and all you have to do is say, okay, that's the opinion of one and not many. And if you have several people who have opinions like those, then of course they're still running up your numbers because they're listening. So it's a good thing. Okay. Someone asks, what is some advice for someone in college trying to get in my field? I actually have a master's degree. My bachelor's is in criminal justice and minor in sociology. My master's is in school counseling, but I am a licensed professional counselor associate. So with that, I would say, of course, just follow your if you're on a school counseling track. Honestly, I probably should have did some type of clinical mental health and not school counseling, but I am happy that I'm doing school counseling because I really do love schools. I love school schedule, but I am realizing that I like my freedom to do my appointments when I'm able to do them and not be bound to the sedentary lifestyle at a desk for 8 hours a day. I don't want to do that with my life. So if you don't want to do that with your life and you want to have more options, I would say go ahead, get that clinical licensure, and do that internship and practicum, and also that supervised experience, and go ahead and get that licensed professional counselor or LCSW, because look, you will open the doors to so many possibilities. And if you are in Texas, for some reason, y'all love those social workers out here. So, LCSW. And also, when you are applying for jobs, I will say get someone to look over your credentials. Join the boards on Facebook, like the groups on Facebook. Join the American Counseling Association, be affiliated with that organization. If you are in school for school counseling, do ASCA, um, the American School Counseling Association. Also, join any type of Texas counselor associations. Yeah, just get connected. I would say network a lot. Um, Oh, we're gonna have to go back to these questions because I do want to answer them. But they are personal, so I'm gonna wait because I want to kind of dance around to these. So, let me go ahead and get back. Advice for podcasting for the first time. Do it. Remain consistent, research, gather your support team. You do not know it all, baby. You don't know it all. I'm going to tell you that right now because I don't. Learn from others and take your hat off. You cannot be a teacher and a learner. You have to actually still be the learner. You got to be the learner for a while before you actually master the skill. So when I teach things that, not teach, when I provide psychoeducation, I get that from resources that are credible. And I can't do that if I'm just making up stuff in my head because it's a good think piece. I can't even hold all that up. I can't hold all that up here. I'm just gonna keep it funky with y'all. My brain is on overload. That's why I wrote everything down today. But you don't know it all. Don't try. So, if you could choose any profession, what would it be? Honestly, I would still do the same thing, but I would be a DJ, y'all. I love for music. I love music. The love for music is real, is what I was trying to say. Um, I used to make beats a while ago. Um, Fruity Loop. Y'all, I would be a DJ right now if somebody actually knew that I wanted to do that for real, for real. And I followed a path that was my creative path and not my what was gonna make me some money. Okay, but you can always do things in tandem, and that's why I'm so happy for YouTube because yeah, I do want to up my skills in sewing. I want to do website design. I love video editing. And at one point, I wanted to do photography. I actually really love photography. I like taking pictures of nature. I like taking pictures of flowers. I love flowers. I love, love, love flowers. I also love art. I love art. I also would like to, so these are like other ventures, but I would like to run a nonprofit in the future. So I'm not gonna spoil the details, but hopefully soon I know God will bless me with the tools to go ahead and run this nonprofit. Will put me in the correct rooms with the correct people who know me, who have my best interests at heart, and who actually want to see me succeed. So I know he's gonna do that. So let me stop saying hopefully. um, let's see. Okay, pros and cons about living in Houston. Weather, those beautiful faces that I see that are from all over the United States, even people who just moved here from, internationally. It's a budding city. It's affordable, nice housing. Y'all, when I first came here and I was in a gated community, I thought that I moved on to the big leagues, okay? Coming from Chicagoland, this looks like paradise, okay? Now, some people be like, that's normal. But no, when I tell you, when I first got here, I just knew. I'm like, this can't be real. So, I want to say a con is, and I'm not sure if it's universal, but it's just been happening a little bit too much. But I don't want to put a label all the way on it, but I've talked to other people who are not from here. But the mindset of what I'm gonna call like the homegrowns because they're from here. I believe this is cultural and I understand, but I won't be a part of it. And I think I'm more so speaking on the dating scene, the way the entitlement, also like the nice nastiness of some of the people that I have met. and it really rubbed me the wrong way. But I am meeting some beautiful people who are somewhat changing that narrative. But I do notice like they are not from here, but they've been here for quite some time. So maybe Houston could show me something different. Until then, I'll just stay in my little bubble with my little Louisianians and my Midwesterners. I love all people, y'all. But I just noticed that I fear more with people who are also, what do they call us? Transplants. So yeah. But I'm always willing to give it a try. I'm not shutting people out. Okay, I don't want y'all to think that. So, also resources for those who are a little bit above the threshold, and I'm talking about like the income gap. Like, I think they do need to widen that gap a little bit because it can be a little bit hard out here for some families. And Texas will tell you you're gonna have to do it on your own. And I think that's amazing. But coming from where I came from, my blue state, it was a little bit more help, but I know some people will argue that it was an enable, like it was enabling. And I get it. I definitely understand, but I do know some people need help. So even if they make a little bit more, like $1 over the threshold or $100, 200, 300, I just wish that it was a little bit different when it came to that with the programs for people like that. So yeah. Okay. So, motivation to keep pushing. My kids, my community. My community needs their voice heard. We all need support. So, it's like a little support group from afar. You're going to feel seen. It's going to push you to maybe pursue therapy or get some help. You deserve it. Um, Ways for people to self care, ways for people to love themselves a little bit better. This is why I do this. Yes. Also, people learning from one another. That's a real plus. So also resources that have helped on my mental health journey. Nedra Tawab, um, boundaries book. Find boundaries. No, no. I think it's establish boundaries, find peace. I have the book on my desk at work. I crack it open every now and again, but it's a boundaries book. Okay. Elijah 2XO on Instagram or Zero. Also podcast therapy for Black girls, affirmation for Black girls. Actually, they inspired me to podcast. So I'm so like forever grateful for these resources and finding these resources, and I didn't even know they were like at my fingertips. And also Kizzle, Express Yourself Black Men podcast. I do listen to that because I kind of want to know um the thoughts of men and how they are feeling even when they're not communicating what they're feeling. And these are not every single last man, but just some of the men that have come on there. I'm like, oh wow, this could have been why. I like to I want to understand more, and that is part of my journey for being a a partner to someone in the future. And I know that my partner is probably going to be different from some of the men that were on the show, but some of the things are universal that are being expressed. So I think that will come in handy for me so that I can understand my partner a little bit more, but also with the communication of themselves. And that is a part of my mental health journey because um I do need to get better with certain personal things when it comes to my interactions with the opposite sex. So it helps me. It helps me a lot. Um, okay, back to personal advice in struggling relationships. Um, I've tried therapy. I've done individual therapy too. I think that's the only besides communication with one another and actually open and honest communication and also listening to one another, which is very important. And some people fail to listen to one another, which can cause, and I'm just speaking from personal experience, it can cause the relationship to not do what it's supposed to do, which is that open communication as well as that empathetic communication, and also seeing where somebody is coming from, but you don't necessarily have to agree with them. I think that's also important, as long as you see their side of things and you respect them. That's top tier. And of course, in the past, I have definitely messed up on this stuff, okay? But even also going through counseling as well. Ultimately figured out I needed to go to counseling, which empowered me to finally move on. Um, yeah, it definitely empowered me a lot. So I'm not saying that's your specific situation, but I will say that you just never know what you find out about yourself and whether or not you can continue to coexist with someone. Um, and it's okay to try. I think trying is very important, but also you got to keep it real. And my therapist definitely keep it real. And the therapist I talked to definitely kept it real. So, um, so I hope they answered that question. I don't really have advice, just more so recommendation. I don't like giving advice, so I call them recommendations. Somebody said when somebody says you're too nurturing, what are they saying? Hmm. I don't think that's a you problem. But then again, I would ask for more clarification. So when someone says that, I can't even give an answer. I can't even give an answer without context. So ask them another question. Now, that's a recommendation. Ask them another question. Can you explain examples and what do you mean when you say I'm too nurturing? Okay. All right. Let's see. Did I answer all of the questions? Oh, work-life balance. Okay, so this is one. Work-life balance for me, not gonna lie, this is a tough one. I'm just trying my best to set myself up for the near future, where I don't have to anxiously juggle kids, work, and self-care. I'm just sure to make some time for my kids on the weekends and during the week to have these little mini convos with them. Like I talk to my son and I ask him, how's his day? I talk to both my sons, at 4 and 9. Like I talk to both of them. I also talk to my daughter who likes to text me throughout the day, like she ain't got no classwork, and I have to tell her like, "Can you calm down?" But it's usually like during the holiday break. So, I say put that phone away. But I make time for my kids, and I also include my son in meal prep now because he likes to be included, my 4-year-old. And then also my daughter, I've been like telling her, like, you have to make this. And we have an air fryer. And so I'm like, okay, this is your duty. You got to make it. And so she'll go ahead and make it gladly. She likes to do that. Um, Also addressing their emotional needs and things they have going on, as also opening up to an extent, because there are things that sometimes parents share with children that are not appropriate. And let me just tell you that. Okay. So I open up to an extent emotionally to the kids so they can know that mom needs her time as they need time themselves. And when I do that, y'all, the kids will make me tea. They'll leave me alone for like 30 minutes. And it's just the best. Like, those are the best times. Um, and vice versa. So I attend most of their events and cheer them on, and we go to church together. I also use D&D a lot, y'all. I won't answer my phone if I'm not emotionally equipped to handle what's on the other end. And I know what's on the other end. So sometimes I'm just not by my phone too. Um, and won't receive messages, which is what I love, to be honest. And let me go back a little bit so y'all don't think that I am being a complete, like, terrible person. No, I just don't want to react in a way that is not nice. Because of something that happened. And I'm not gonna say not nice, but more so like, yeah, oh, like I'm not there. Like I'm literally not there. And I just had this conversation with someone. You can't really show up. And I also just like talked about this. But you can't really show up for others if you're not showing up for yourself. And so this is why I have to work on work-life balance, y'all. It's kids, 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 kids. And then I try my best to get some time for myself, but it's kids, 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 kids. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I believe I am blessed. I have decided to change that narrative of stress. I am blessed. My kids are healthy. They are alive. I love them so much. And I'm so thankful. Every day I'm thankful that God allowed me to be a mother. Okay. Um, so yeah, but I'm not by my phone, y'all. So if you call me, that's why. I'm just not by my phone. Um, okay. And one last question. Lessons you took away from the relationship with your kid's father. I'm going to put this as simple as possible and say slow down. Growth is applied. Change is something you work on when you want change. Self growth is what I mean. I think in that situation, I did not truly know myself. I've gained myself and lost myself more times than I can count. And I don't push the blame on anyone. I take full accountability. But I also realize, like, slow down. You have to slow down. Um, so yeah, this has been the We Are One podcast. I just want to say thank y'all so, so much for allowing me to answer these questions and also for you listening to these questions. I hope that you all continue to listen even in the new year. I very much so appreciate you. Next week, I'm trying to figure out, like, for these next 2 weeks, trying to figure out in which way I would like to um take the direction of the show when it comes to the final 2 episodes. So there we go. I'm not procrastinating, y'all. I promise. I promise. But I'm a creative and that's just how I operate. I'm getting better. Okay. Yeah. And you all make me better. I promise. Every lick of feedback is near and dear to my heart. And I promise y'all, I love y'all for that. I don't even know who listening, but I love you, okay? And I just really, really hope that you take some of this and you say, okay, this is something that I'm thinking about now. So let me go ahead and work on it or what have you, okay? So this has been Vaughn with the We Are Vaughn podcast, and you are amazing. You are wonderful. You are special, and I appreciate you so, so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.